Okay. Okay, so we'll do that. Right. So we were doing karma yoga, yoga of action, working Krishna consciousness. So as I said, we are based on the teachings of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Okay, so let us be obeisance to Radha Govinda. Mangalachara. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanaka Shalakaya Chakshumita Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapita Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vittam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Aparijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakana Vittamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dino Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpaturabhyascha Kripa Sindhu Aveva cha Patitam Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Purtayale Swamiti Swami Vediti Namine Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascha Deshatarine Jai Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna. So, anybody remembers what we did yesterday? Okay, so I thought we'll just have a recap of this. You all understood this yoga ladder? Hare Krishna. Anyone can explain to me a bit? Anyone volunteer? Hare Krishna. Oh, nobody is there?
Yeah, Mataji, I can.
Yes, please go ahead.
So, in the normal ladder, there is like karma, karma yoga, and the sakama karma yoga. These are like pretty much long way to the Lord.
But you can start from animal life, Bapuji.
Okay.
Then we go up.
Okay. So in normal ladder, we have like a progressive yoga ladder, which is like starting from animal life, we have karma kanda, then we progress to karma, sakama karma yoga, then we progress to niskama karma yoga, and then to prem bhakti and bhav bhakti. So to take the elevator, express elevator, we have to surrender and associate with pure devotees so as to reach to a God, reach to a destination easier and faster.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So what is the thing is, we were talking about Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is, how do you do worship through karma? That's what we discussed in the other verses. So here, if you get, I mean, this is the normal way we go. That is, we do the karma kanda, means as per the Vedic rituals, you do all the thing, but you don't give any results to the Lord. So when you come to Sakama Karmaga, you do the devotion work for thing, but the results, part of it, you give it to Krishna. That is the thing. Whereas when Nishkama Karma, when you elevate, that is, you do your sadhana, and when you progress considerably, and you reach the Nishkama Karma Yoga, where you give all your results of the work to the Lord. So then here you don't get any reactions for the fruitive activities. And then you can slowly progress straight away to Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti, get to the Bhakti Yoga. But these is extend the ladder, but this also you can progressively, you can go in this manner. But suppose a person gets the association of a pure devotee and he surrenders to him, then he straightaway takes up to sadhana bhakti, because that is the way the pure devotees can guide him. And then when he starts with the sadhana bhakti, with the guidance of the pure devotees, he can progress much faster and they can reach even to Bhava Bhakti Prema Bhakti. That is expersenator. That is what we get the advantage when if you get the association of a pure devotee. And the best example, as I said, is Prabhupada. Lot of people, when they went to US, many of them got straight away, they took the surrender to him and they could start off with the sadhana bhakti. Okay, by they can elevate. So sadhana bhakti is sadhana, that's why it helps a lot in our spiritual life. Okay, so now let's see what the other verses we go to. So this is the section 3. We are looking that Nishkama Karma Yoga to set correct example. So we learned about Nishkama Karma Yoga, how to do it, because taking Karma Sanya and doing for the Lord, we are entitled to do we have a right to do our prescribed duties, but not for the results. That's why, but we have to give up the results to the Lord, then it becomes, karma becomes your Nishkama Karma Yoga. Now once you have reached Nishkama Karma Yogi, he has already reached that stage, okay? That means he is already highest perfection. Then he says, my prescribed duties are meant to bring material world. So, but I do not have any material desires in this life. Now do I desire Swargaloka? I know I'm not this body. Okay, he is already in that thing. So why should I need to perform my prescribed duties? So this is this verse in 3.17. So he might think, I've already reached. I know that doing it, I don't have any material desires. Nor do I want to go to a higher planet. I know I'm not this body. So why should I need to perform my prescribed duties? So in the following verses, Krishna explains why one freed from material desires should nevertheless perform his duties. So this is what Arjuna, what Krishna is going to say, because he was telling, no, that I will not do my fight, I will rather give up. So this is the answer to Arjuna's argument of destruction of family dynasty. So you should perform duties so that you can set an example for the others. Others should not point out, no. See, Arjuna himself, when the problem came, he ran away from the battlefield and went to the forest. So we also, when we get the problems, we need not face them, we can give up. So he says, don't do that. You become a thing. You should be a set an example so that others will follow you. So that can answer to his argument of destruction of family dynasty. So is anyone can volunteer this verse? Esther, Atma.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yasto atma ratir eva syad atma triptascha manavaha atmane evascha santushtasya karyam na vidyate. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Right. So most of the people there, we work for some satisfaction, which is outside. We want to work for the people, our family, we want to work for the society. So that is, we want to satisfy others, right? But here, once you're self-realized, he works only for the pleasure of the but for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, he is satisfied only, fully satisfied, because for him there's no duty. And we have to not just look at this as an isolation. We should continue to see what Krishna is saying next. Go ahead, Mataji.
नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो न कृतनेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिद् अर्थ व्यपाश्रयः A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So what from this points that 3.17 and 3.18 in these two verses is something like misguiding. Like it will cause confusion to anyone. They'll think, okay, if you do a Nishkama Karma Yoga, then you need not do any work, you need not do any duty. That's what it implies, right? So, but Krishna is saying next, we have to see when many people, what they do, they'll take only some verse from the Bhagavad Gita and say, oh, this is what Krishna is saying. But they don't give what is the prelude or what is coming other verses. It's a continue, it's a dialogue. It's not, they take only a part of the dialogue and confuse people. So here, if we just look at these two verses, it looks like, it appears that there is no duty for Nishkama Karma Yogi. Okay. But let us look at the next one. Tasmad
Tasmad satatam karyam karma samachara asakto he acharan karma parma apnoti purushah. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the Supreme. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So, he has, that is not that he has no duty. Okay, yeah, he's a Nishkama. That means he knows that he's not the body and he's the soul, and he wants to work for the Lord. So here he will work as a duty. He will continue to work. Though he has reached that stage of realization, but he will continue to do it, saying that it is a matter of duty. And he will do it without any attachment. Okay. So that by doing that, he will attain the Supreme. So when we read these verses, we have to read together. 17, 18, 19, only then we can understand this. Otherwise, so let's see what it, now he's going to give some examples. Karma naiva.
Karmaneva hi samsiddhim astitha janakadayah lok sangraham evapi sampaschana kartum arhasi. Kings such as Janaka attain perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, so in the purport, Prabhupada says that there are many Mahajanas who did work because they had attained perfection solely by performing prescribed duties. So they continue to work so that they will be educating the people in general. So you should perform your work. That's what Krishna is telling Arjuna. So you should continue to do your duty because his duty is as a Kshatriya. Okay. And then he has to fight. He can't just give up fighting and say, I'll do that, because there'll be loss of family tradition. He says, no, by not doing only, you will be showing a bad example. So by doing it, and also once you win, you will have a better kingdom and the people can be taken care of. So he's telling him, you should not set a bad example. You should act. So you all understood till here, that is these things, because this is very important here. We keep giving examples. Next we'll see. Yad yadacharati.
Yad achrati shreshtas tat evitaru janaha sa yat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So very few people will work as per their own, in a righteous way. But many people in general, they will look up for a role model. Who is the leader? And they will try to follow because they can't do it on their own. They will always look up, is there any person who can show them example or who can lead them. So this is how we are here. Most of the people are like that. So we require leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. So because of that, he's telling Arjuna, you should set the proper standards. Only then, because people will look up at you, so you should not run away like this, you have to set up a good example. There's other standards you have to set up. And therefore, teacher must, and what should the teacher be? A teacher should be one who should behave in the same manner. It's not like, you have somebody who preaches, see, please don't smoke. It is very harmful for the health. And he gives a big version for 1 hour. Okay. And then after giving everything, then he goes back to his room and starts smoking. So that way he's not following, he's giving a bad example. He's not following what he's saying. So he's telling us, you should be a proper leader who will set the standard by his actions, not by just telling. So that we have to be, so natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual course. So you have to be a better leader. So he's telling that. Then next.
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचनः नाना अवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि. O son of Pratha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the 3 planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So here Krishna, so not only he gave the example of Janak Maharaj, and he is telling, I myself, he says there is no work for him, but he will, because he has come on the earth, he will do the prescribed duty as, because when he was a small boy or when he was a thing, even as a chariot, he comes, no? When Arjuna asked him to be a charioteer, he comes, he does his duty. So he says, there is no work for me, but still he will do it so that people will should not show saying that when Krishna himself is not doing, why should we do it? So he says, nor am I want of anything, nor have I anything, yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. In all the thing, when he was in Vrindavan or when he was in Dwaraka, everywhere, whatever role he was, he did his prescribed duties. Okay. Now.
यदि यदि हे अहमं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्य तन्द्रितः मम वर्त मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः. For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. Hare Krishna.
So he has come. He says, no, I have come to establish the principles of religion. So he will also follow the prescribed rules, so that people will follow. Otherwise, it should. He says, I myself will be creating unwanted population. So he gave the examples of Mahajan, and then so he is telling to do your work. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. So this is the answer for his argument for the laws of tradition. So you have understood this much. At least there's any other thing we can continue, or you want to have? Is it okay? You all understood till here? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Yeah. So Krishna is giving his own thing, and we have where to write. Okay, so we'll go continue then. Right. Continue, Mataji.
Mataji, yes. Sorry to interrupt late.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
In the last slide, can you switch? Yeah, so I would be the cause of creating unwanted population.
But you see, okay, yes, Prabhuji, continue.
And I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. I could not get this one.
See, if he sets the bad example, okay, then they will also follow him, no? Saying that Krishna has done nothing, and that will, they will start using that example and start doing irreligious activities. They won't follow they will take advantage of that, and they do all sorts of irreligious work. And then others will also follow them, no? continue, and they will youngsters also won't follow, and they will also take up all sinful activities. And finally, that will be like the population will be, we don't want such kind of population, unwanted, Varna Shankara. That's what he says here.
I'm not, so is he like saying that I won't be the cause of these things, or I will be the cause of unwanted population?
If I don't do, see, he has come here as a child, and then he becomes the husband, when he takes up duties, in Dwaraka and Prince Day, all the duties he has, right? When he comes and takes the role, and when he has the thing, then he has to do his duty as per the prescribed one, right? As per the Vedic norms. Otherwise, what happens? People will start pointing to that, and they will also do their own way, whimsical manner. They will act, perform. They won't do the prescribed duties. They will do it in their manner, and that will create unwanted. There won't be any peace in the society. So that would be put into thing. So then he himself, see, just because he is the Supreme Lord doesn't mean that he should show bad example. He has come to put right dharma. He has to put the things back. So he also has to set an example properly. That's what he's trying.
And Mataji, there's a confusion, like Krishna's wife was Rukmini.
Yes.
But why do we pray to Radha every time then?
It's not, they're all expansions of Radha. Rukmini and all are expansions of Radha. Radha is the, what is it? Aladak Shakti of Krishna. So they're all expansions.
She was a lover, not a...
No, Prabhuji. They're all, so that's what we have to go into higher level. Radha is Aladak Shakti of Krishna only.
Okay.
Feminine energy.
So is that, doesn't that mean that worth of a wife is less than a lover? Like
no, Prabhuji. They're all expansions of that thing. They all have different roles. See, you have 16,000 wives. Means they're expansions of Radha only.
So who came first, Rukmini or Radha?
Radha was there all the time with Krishna. And they all are there. It's not who came first. Like Krishna expands himself.
Okay.
So that is the thing. Because when in Brahma Samhita, they say, no, there are so many Lakshmis are there, and Hanta Koti Lakshmis. There in Brahma Samhita, it says in Goloka. So they're all expansions of Krishna. That's all, of Radha. Radha is the Shakti, of Aladik Shakti. It's a little higher science, Prabhuji. You need to go a little bit.
And
in Bhagavad Gita, it is explained well in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Okay.
Okay, that is the reason. That's why we don't get into it. We only stick into this Bhagavad Gita. But it's there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's explained very well.
Actually, like from a non-Hindu, I got this question that why don't we pray to Rukmini rather than Radha? So I was really confused being a Hindu.
No, we take she is the highest devotee, so you don't have thing, in Vrindavan, they don't say Hare Krishna, they say Radhe Radhe, because they want the mercy of Radha to go to Krishna. So they are the highest level. Gopis are the highest level of devotees. Okay, so we have to go to Radhe only to get the mercy of Krishna. So she is the level. She will want all to come to Krishna. She is the highest level of devotee. So devotion. So gopis. So
Mataji, don't we say that they're all parts of Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi?
That's what
whether you say Radha, whether you say Rukmini, or whether you say
Shakti, I said no problem, Mataji. They're all expansions of Shakti, of the Radha. So they all come in that. Mahalakshmi. So you can say that. Even when Durga Devi, when they come, in the material world and thing, that time they are the expansions from thing to take care of the material world, the earth. then Shiva comes down and all that. So there's a higher signs we have to read in Bhagavatam, they will get more. Okay. So when Lord designs here in the purport, it's clearly said, no? When Lord Krishna designs, naturally he'll be with such rules and regulations in order to maintain the prestige and necessity of such important rules. Is it okay, Prabhuji? Are you still having doubts?
No, Mataji, I got.
Yeah. So there are expansions. It's not like lover. I think they're all devotion. They just want to be with Krishna. That's all. There's nothing. Once you reach that level, no, there's nothing like whatever we see as a sex and things here. It's a perversion of. That's a purity there. You're only seeing the perverted. When you see in the chapter 15, Uttva Mula, everything is just a reflection. It's not the real what we are having it in this world, all the relationships. When you see it in spiritual world, the relationships are real, whether it is Sankhya, or friendship, or the Vatsalya, or the Vatsalya Rasa. There are 5 rasas, no? You all know that 5 rasas with which we can relate to Krishna.
Madhurya, Vatsalya, Sakhya, Dasya, and one I'm missing, Mataji.
Shanta, that is the thing, as animals and all, no, the thing, that one. So
Right,
that are
right.
those, yes, yeah. So those are the rasas, relationship we'll have with Krishna. So they're all come in that. So their all highest level is Madhurya level. So they just want to be with Krishna. That's all. They don't want anything else. So they don't look at whether that marriage and all is there only in the material world for having a Vedic system, no, where it says you should be married and you should be regulated. Everything sense gratification should be under regulation. So yeah, there it's only devotion. So like for Yashoda Maya, see in Bhagavad Gita we don't talk about Yashoda Maya or in all the others, no. I think it's only about our life and principles and the life. Only in Bhagavatam and all you will get all that. Okay. So anything else? But so when we see in the purport, is there anything else you are confusion? We should note carefully that we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord. We still have to remember that we should not imitate. Just because he's the Lord and we can't just imitate him, that people go into this Rasa Leela and think that we should do that. No, because we can't imitate devotees. Like Lord Shiva, people say, no, followers of Shiva, they say we will imitate him and they take ganja and all that. But do they take poison? Shiva drank poison, isn't it? And things. So that is the thing, we can't imitate devotees. So he says here, I would, he has come here to organize he will naturally follow the rules and regulations so that the people don't have to, otherwise you'll be causing unwanted disturbance in the society. So he doesn't want to disturb that. So he wants to have peace. Okay. Anything else? We'll go further. Sakta Karman.
सक्तः कर्मण्य विद्वांसो यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस तथा सक्ताश्च चिकीर्षुर् लोकसंग्रहम्. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, so you might think they are also doing the prescribed duties. They will think they are ordinary people. No, the duties they will do it, but they won't be attached to the results. As the ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results, the learned may similarly act, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path. Okay, so we should understand. Is there any doubt in this? Hare Krishna. So we need Krishna consciousness person is required to show the people how to act and how to engage the results of action for the purpose of Krishna consciousness. Okay, so we can take the example of Prabhupada. Whatever he did all for the Krishna, isn't it? So so how the learned and ignorant people act. There are differences in their desires. Both have desires, but one wants to do for the satisfaction of the Krishna senses. They want to work for the Lord, whereas they will work without attachments to the results of the work. And why they do it? So that they set an example and lead people on the right path. But ignorant people, they want to satisfy their own senses. They work with attachments to fruits of results. Okay. So this is a different. Both have desires. Okay. But one, the desire is they want to work for the Lord, for the thing, and they want, and why they set example for the others, because they want to bring them also to Krishna consciousness. They want them also to go back to the Lord. That's the reason they will be here and try to lead the people. So they will, and whereas ignorant people, they have desires, and their desire is for their own sense satisfaction. Okay. Now buddhi vedam, Hare Krishna.
न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेद अज्ञानां कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत सर्वकर्माणि विद्यानयुक्तः समाचरन्. So as not to disrupt the minds of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in the spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities for the gradual development of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So what here is telling is the wise people, that is who are in this path, nothing, they should not force the ignorant people. Because what happens, they can make them understand. If they try to force them, then the ignorant people, they might blindly give up work. But that is not there, no, because they need to be purified and they have to come. So he says they should not induce them to stop work. They should continue to their work. But only thing is, slowly you have to show them by your example how to engage in Krishna consciousness. So their development will come slowly, but you can guide them. But you cannot make them stop the work. So he's telling, because the ignorant people are still immature, and they know that will cause them bewilderment for them. They may not easily understand. I mean, we are all in that state. We are still in the groping. Slowly, we try to take the guidance of the seniors, right? So here he's clearly telling, he's not telling them to bring them everyone together. Okay, Mataji, thank you.
प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहमीति मन्यते. The spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Hare Krishna Mataji.
So here he's talking about how the two people work with a different consciousness. Okay. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, think himself the doer of the activities that are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature. So here, the persons who are doing in Krishna consciousness, they know themselves that they are not the doer, because there is, I mean, they can, unless it's a sanction by the Lord, it does everything by the Lord. Okay. So they don't get into that false ego. Whereas ignorant people, they think they are the ones who are doing it. I am the one who doing, I am the cause of this. So I need to enjoy these results. So that I and is mine. So that is that false ego. With that, they are influenced by the material modes of nature. And so they act like that. So he's telling, first he told the wise people should not do it, should not induce the ignorant people. Now he's giving the reason why ignorant people, because they are in this, they are carried away by the modes of nature. So it is difficult for them to understand. Okay. So Tattva, one who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, Almighty Arm, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. So once you are in the thing, who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the difference between work in devotion and work for fruitive results. Okay, that is the conclusion. So bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior than due to performers' lack of knowledge. Okay, so we should not unsettle them. Otherwise, it becomes difficult when they are not able to understand. So we have to take slowly. We have to bring them, but no, we should not agitate such materially engrossed persons. So we might have to do silently. You do your work, and then by your example, slowly, their innocent people will understand and follow you. This is what happened when Prabhupada went in US. So initially they didn't take it up. They started observing him, and the first 6 to 8 months, they saw that how the person was so engrossed in this and the talk and everything. They observed him, and they said that's when they started following him. Okay, immediately they didn't. Only after studying. So that way, the self-realized person, they will be acting as an example. So you should not disturb them, but you should do your job silently. So that itself will show them that will start following you. Okay. My Mataji, you can do this. My
मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यसयाध्यात् अध्यात्मचेतसा निराशी निर्ममो भूत्वा युद्धयस्व विगतज्वरः. No claims to proprietorship and free from lethargy, fight. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship and free from lethargy, fight. Hare Krishna.
So he says, now he concludes, he's telling him, you just fight for me and now with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship. Okay. So purpose of Bhagavad Gita is, we surrender all your work unto me with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claim of proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So he says, don't get into this lethargy, get up and fight. Okay. Those persons. Yes, Mataji, you can continue this. 31.
Yame matamidam nityam anutiஷ்ठन्ति मानवः श्रद्धावन्तो न सुयन्तो मुच्यन्ते ते अपि कर्मभिः. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive actions.
So now this is the secret, how we have to do our work, our duties according to my injunctions, and follow this teaching faithfully, would become free from bondage. Whether it's good or bad, nothing. All you have to do is you're doing for the Lord and for your doing your duties and nothing. So he says, if you follow my injunctions and faithfully without envy, you will become freedom from the bondage of fruitive reactions. Otherwise, what happens? Out of envy, when they work, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly, are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, be fooled and ruined in their endeavors perfection. It's like blindfoldly you're walking because you're not following his instructions, and you're just going to fall into the cycle of birth and death.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a doubt.
Yes, Prabhu.
So I just wanted to understand, as Kshatriya, Arjuna is supposed to fight and he should have his own kingdom. But when we talk about kingdom, is it not a material kind of a gain for him?
No, Prabhuji, because they have to set right as a Kshatriya, they had the right, no? For them, the kingdom was there, no? They were the rightful ruler was Yudhishthira, isn't it? It was Duryodhana who usurped that. He was the rightful ruler, isn't it? Yudhishthira. So it was his right to rule the kingdom, but they usurped it, and then all the things we saw, and that's how it ended up with the battle. That's why they're fighting for the righteous way. not for the anything. So it is not that they are fighting for material gains. No, they are fighting for the right, which is the dharma, religious ways. And Krishna wanted the thing and put all the miscreants to be taken out. So there were finally it ended up in the war. So they are participating in it as per the Krishna's way. That's why he says, you do for me. You're not fighting for yourself. So even when they were ruling, Yudhishthira was very conscious thing. He just ruled it as his duty, and not because of he was in he wanted that glory or that fame, nothing. He just did it as his duty, and all his brothers all supported him and worked with him for as a duty. That's all. Not nothing. The minute when they heard Krishna has left the earth, Yudhishthira just left the palace and gave up the thing and made his grandson as the next ruler and told the acharyas to guide them and all that, and he left for Vanaprastha. And following him, all his brothers and everyone left the palace and just followed him. Right. They just didn't, it was not because they wanted the material gains, no.
Right.
They just worked as per the duty.
Okay.
It's very difficult, Prabhuji. We are still in the karma khandas level. We are still takes even to our sadhana, we have to purify ourselves because we have desires with us still. So, right. But what we are doing now is we are trying to learn what are the teachings by the Krishna and how to adopt it. And we can do it by doing our sadhana. It comes slowly we can grab by repeated learning and reading what Prabhupada has written also. The purports are very nice and we keep going through them. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
And do you know what you mean by envy? I think at least that we can understand. What do you all understand by envy?
Out of envy, jealous kind of a thing.
Anybody else want to try? Envy means?
Jealousy with the Lord.
Envy means that somebody else has it and I don't have it.
Yeah, there are something which the others have, I don't have, but I don't like what that person has, I like, but I don't like the idea that person is having. He should not have. It must be me only who should have. That is envy. And others, jealousy is the synonymous, right? Envy is one more thing. That is, that person is having something which I like, which I should have, but he should not have. Okay? Did I make it clear? I don't know. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So the other person is having something which I like, which I should have, but he should not have. Okay? So that is what it means. Envy is that. So that is why when we are here, it says out of envy, they don't want to follow Krishna. They want all the opulences what Krishna has, but they don't want to follow his teachings. So they are envious of him. So they're not regularly. So it's like that. They are blindfolded and they will fall down, of course. Even a man, okay, Mataji, carry on that you can read. I think the others will go a little faster. Even a man. Yes, Mataji, correct.
Sadrasham cheshtate swasayaha prakarte jnanavanapi prakartim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows a nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish?
So here he says clearly that everyone will be working as per their nature. So it's not that, once you're in a man of knowledge that you are having a different nature. No. So they have their own nature. But only thing is we should not disturb them, because how can we come out of the in 7.14 he says, no, the Maya is so powerful, it's very difficult to come out of its clutches. Only when people who surrender to him can easily overcome it. So till that time, you can't, no, because they'll be still, till they come to that level of surrendering, only then they can give up. So you can't force them. So he says, everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. So repression, now you say, please give up your results and things, in that it won't help them immediately. Slowly they have to come to that level. So unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of the modes of nature. So even for a highly educated person on mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of this entanglement of Maya. Therefore, it's better to be situated in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Only then we can be freed from things. So we need the training. So we should try to follow, not to be a repression. Okay.
Mataji, one question comes here to me at this point. See, these modes of the
nature,
nature, they are not from the birth, correct? I mean, that somebody is not the Shudra or Kshatriya by birth, but by his ability to do something.
It's not the nature is not as per your birth, Prabhuji. It says Gunamaya, no? It's a Guna Vibhaga, no? In form, it comes in chapter 4. This Varnashrama system. Yeah. Each one has got its own nature. Somebody, will be able to sit and read and try to understand. Even in children, you can see, they have different natures. Somebody will like to boss around. Someone will like to calmly do some economically, economics, they'll be very good in their trading and all that. So it's all in their nature. So you take up a profession as per your nature, not as per your birth. So you're not a Kshatriya as per the birth.
Yeah, is it not something one should look for changing the profession and or the nature and go do something which can give a better material comfort, for example?
But if you try to become, say, you don't have that leadership quality, but you want to take up that leadership quality, then will you be successful in it? Or in your business, somebody who is not so good in trading, then if he takes up in that trade because he wants to get a better material gain, he thinks he'll become a businessman, will he flourish in the business? Prabhuji.
And understand, but see, otherwise it means that suppose, since the word Shudra is that doing only service to the other yes. Three types of people, so should they continue to do that only as and so, because then there is no improvement in their next generation also, no?
No, Prabhuji, it's not like that. What was the intention of this Varnashrama system is, each one do work as per their nature, but on the spiritual path, they will be going towards the Lord, that they will coordinately work, because any activity, you need all these four kinds of people, isn't it? For any yes. activity, any company, you need somebody to be a CEO who will administer thing, and there will be somebody to take up finance and this, and somebody to clean up the flows and things, that kind of work. And you need all in any activity, even if you want to organize one function, even for organizing a simple function, you need all the 4 kinds of people, isn't it? There are all yes, these tasks are there for you to get it done, and they all will work together for the common cause, right? So that the yes. function will be taking place. Same here, these things is for, but they will help each other. Like Brahmanas were supposed to guide the Kshatriyas, the rulers in the properly. They is to be in the ministers level. They is to advise them, and they will also take the advice of the Brahmanas. And Kshatriya and Vaishyas also will get trained in the Gurukul. Learn about the skills of trading and all that. Whereas Shudras won't be with the thing, but he will try to work supporting the thing. So he will take that type of work. And all of them will be working together, helping each other in a coordinated manner. Anything like we take one function, how the coordination is there. And in spiritually, the Brahmanas is to guide them in the villages and all that. They is to guide all of them, and they will, spiritual path, they will be progressing together one by one. Okay, coordinate manner. But today what has happened is it has become as a birth. They have really twisted it up, and they are trying to, people think that once you're born in a Brahmin family, you have to take the Brahminical thing. But you may not have the Brahminical qualities, which has been explained in the 18th chapter. Krishna talks about the Brahminical qualities and what the qualities a Kshatriya should have as an administrator, and what is the Vaishyas should have. So that today in Kali Yuga, all of us are Shudras. Unless we train ourselves and cultivate these qualities, we cannot claim to be a Brahmana or a politician thing. But today is all ulta palta. That's all. Okay, Prabhuji?
Thank you.
We're talking from the material gain only, Prabhuji. That's all. But
ma'am, but also Mataji, but also it is said that this Varnashrama system of Hindus has really put a lot of losses for all of us eventually, because the Pandits took not the learned ones, but the Brahmins took over the whole society. And this Varnashrama system is one which is responsible for the downfall of all the Hindus.
no, Mataji, it's not the Varnashram system is right.
Because Shudras, how they're treated. Then in this time, they're Dalits, they are OBCs, they are whatnot. And, they never let them come out of it. And, it really created a lot of problems today. What all are we seeing? Because Brahmins think they are the most learned. They want to keep hold on all the Vedas, all the scriptures. This is what kept on happening throughout centuries. Because this was mentioned, they misused the whole concept. And, the whole society went down.
Yes, Mataji, that is what Kali Yuga is, Mataji. Kali Yuga is like that. It's meant to be misleading and misguiding, and it's full of quarrels, conflicts. And this is what is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is meant to, that is the period we are living in today. So it's not because the Varna system was working very well in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga and all, it worked. So why it didn't work here? Because slowly it got degraded. That's all. Okay. There are a lot of, they started increasing and the thing. But any system is good. See, we have, in policing, we have state government has got many rules and regulations. But still, it doesn't work. Well, implementing or something, there are so many loopholes, so many things, it doesn't work. There are a lot of corruptions going on. Even the government bodies, there are so many things going on. So it's not that the system was bad. The way the people are taking it up and implementing it and policing it is they are not doing it as per their duty. That's the reason. They are not doing it as per their duty. So we are fine. That is what is Kali Yuga is all about. Okay, Prabhu, Mataji. So we can't blame the Varnashram system. Even today we have, we have intellectual class, we have administrative class, and we have business class, capital.
No, but that way everybody has, everybody.
Every country it has.
No, every individual has the right, like in cities at least we do that. Every individual has a right to do whatever they want to, whether you want to become a businessman, you want to become a politician or a learned person, it is up to you, your own self. But still in all the villages, in the this thing, everywhere else.
Everywhere, Mataji, everywhere. Yes. America also, when they went, the Britishers all went from here and landed up in US. They pushed away the Red Indians.
Yes, yes, they did. Yes.
So it is happening all over the world, Mataji. It's not just India, it's all over the world. They're all repressing and pushing it.
But things are still happening in villages, in rural areas, which should not be happening. Still there are households who do not let others, let certain section of people take water from the wells. Don't let them marry in a certain manner. There's so many other things, they do to them, which definitely are not good. I mean, which definitely.
Yes, Mataji, that is going on everywhere, Mataji. All these kind of repressions and things are there. Okay, so this is Kali Yuga today, Yuga of quarrels and conflicts and this.
Yes,
so, yes, Mataji, it has happening, but not because the system is there good, but it has got Just like he said, no, I taught this Bhagavad Gita science to sun god, and then it came to Ikshvaku and all that. But still, I saw that it got disrupted. The science got disrupted. So I'm again telling it to you, to Arjuna. So he says, because it got disrupted and lost the disapplication, I'm just come to again to tell you. So like that, he has given. And then we have a lot of acharyas who have come, no? Madhvacharya, then Ramanujacharya and all that, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings got lost. And then it was again revived again by Bhakti Vinoda. So this is the Yuga of Kali Yuga is like that. It gets lost, and there will be some acharyas will be sent by the Lord to revive it, to bring it back. So there will be some Senadipati will be coming then, and then they'll be sending, because there are people who will be praying for it, because his devotees are always praying for it. So they will come, and they will come down and think. So this will go on. In fact, they say now we have average age of people is 100, but end up by Kali Yuga, it might reduce to even 25. So that it slowly goes, duration of life also gets reduced. So at least we can take advantage of now, this life, and try to follow the principles of Krishna and see that we can go up to back to him. At least we can follow in this path, spiritual path. That should be our goal, to go back to him. At least take up whatever teachings of Prabhupada has followed, some sadhanas, no, which you think we can take up those practices and do it. Okay, Mataji? So let us go back to this. So here it says, even a man acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes, right? So there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion, because they are the stumbling blocks of the self-realization. So we should not. Attachment, aversion means is that you are liking something like. So it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faulty, than another's duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for to follow another's path is dangerous. See, you may not have, that's what he says, you better do your own duty. You might have been imperfectly, but still it's much better than trying to imitate somebody else, because you are not, your nature is not for that. Okay, that is, you think that. Now comes to the conquering. What is the, now Krishna is asking, we'll just go faster. Next, Arjuna asked an important question. After hearing Telugu, one may determine, think, yes, from today onwards, I will steadily do my duty and control my attachments and aversions. I will act only according to Shastra. But we know that whatever we make such resolutions, it will be very difficult to adhere to over the time. We might slip down. So now he is asking, what is the reason? So he asked the following question. Arjuna vacha ata kena prayukto yam papam charati purushaha anichan api vashneya balativa nijajita. Anicham, O descendant of Vashni, by what is one impelled to a sinful act, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? So there is something which is impelling me to do sinful activities. What is that? So Bhagavan Uvacha, Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajaguna Samudbhavaha Mahashana Mahapapma Vidya Enam Yavirina. So lust, the Supreme Personality of God has said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material modes of passion and later transformed into earth, and which is all devouring sinful enemy of this world. Okay, so he's saying that we are in this thinking, feeling stage where we start thinking, contemplating the object of senses, and then slowly start feeling that I like it and all that, and then you want to act on it. So that's why we land up with, which leads to the lust. Then once it's not satisfied, then it will result in anger. Then you get in delusion, then bewilderment, and then loss of intelligence. then we fall down into gross matter. So he says, this is the way, this thinking, feeling stage, that willing to do, this is where if you can stop at that stage itself, then it is much better. You have any doubts in this? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mataji,
Hare Krishna.
stage itself is very tough to resist, correct? So contemplating the object of senses positively or negatively, that itself is the most difficult stage to overcome.
Yes, Prabhuji. It's very good. It's
Oh.
Contemplate. That is contemplating, because we are today's world now, we are almost thrown into so many distractions.
Actions.
So many advertisements, so many things are there, just coming saying, you must take this product, you must take that product. So stopping at that level, it is difficult. Yes.
So what is the advice what is the advice to be successful in that first stage?
Okay, let us see what Krishna is saying. Okay. So Domendra Vari, as fire is covered by smoke, as mirror is covered by dust, as embryo is covered with a womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of lust. So the lust also you have different degrees. So pure conscience becomes covered by this eternal enemy in the formless, which is never satisfied, which burns like fire. So you can't satisfy saying, okay, now I finish off this desire, then I won't get, but desire keeps coming, right? So here, Indriyani Manobuddhi, Asadyasti Uchate, Eta Vimuchate, Esha Jnanam Apita. The senses, the mind, and intelligence are the sitting place of the lust, though through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. So here we have to spiritually, we have to get strengthened. Only then, unless the soul is strengthened, it cannot overpower them. Otherwise, they will take over. Okay. So first, soul has to strengthen, means you have to, a spiritual strength has to increase. Therefore, Arjuna, best of Parthas, in the very beginning, curved this great symbol of sin by regulating the senses and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. Destroyer of knowledge and self, because so we have just, this is beginning of consciousness. So here, I mean, you can think it in the beginning, no, as they said, the fire. There is a semblance of, you can see the fire, though there's just a smoke, okay? But you can start, it will be only less degree. So there, beginning of, once you start Krishna conscious level, if you start working towards that, then it's easy to clear this smoke, and you can get into the, you can clear this, you can overpower the lust. But for this stage, for this degree, you need to do a lot of sadhanas. Cleansing by spiritual methods is required. Whereas for this, it becomes very, knowledge is completely covered, is very difficult at this level. Okay. And first we are trying to understand about this last. So cover living entities pure concession is a symbol of thing, it's never satisfied. Satisfying lust is like adding fire, fuel to fire. Okay. So how to stop it? You can stop feeding it and let it die. Okay, that means you should not encourage the symbol. That is, you asked me that, no? So here, sitting places is senses, mind, intelligence, soul. Fine. So because of this, we are, because of this last thing, we have center of thing, we resolve. So we have, we acquire this false ego. How to do that? We have to regulate the senses. How to overcome lust? We have to learn Bhagavad Gita, of course. Even a late beginner can become a lover of God by following regulative principles of things. So first and foremost, we should understand the senses are superior to dull matter, fine? And mind is higher than the senses. And still higher than this is your intelligence. But soul is even higher than the intelligence. So if you can nourish the soul, if you can do that, if you strengthen your soul, then you can take over these things. Otherwise, you will be succumbing to these desires. I think should we call it essential form? I think these all have been told. Wait, I think so many slides are there. So knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material sense, mind and intelligence, oh mighty Amrit, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence. And thus by spiritual strength, you can conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. So he's telling that only by spiritual strength, you can conquer this enemy.
Can you show the previous slide, please? 42.
Yes.
What is here?
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. Even the soul is the master of intelligence, unless it is strengthened by Krishna consciousness, there's every chance of falling down due to the agitated mind. Okay. What you say is right, Prabhuji. We can't, it's not that easy to conquer our desire. Okay, the lust which is there in our heart. Okay, but doing slowly, when we start progressing in this Krishna conscious path, then our desires will get, our attachment to this material thing will reduce. Then we'll slowly get into that. That's where he says your spiritual strength starts increasing. Then you are able to look at what is, from where you are getting your desire. Is it required for your spiritual journey or it is not? So you can start discriminating. That means your intelligence you can use to discriminate whether you really require it or not. Then you're able to control your mind. Otherwise, the mind control won't be happening. Unless you control your mind, your senses will act waver. It will just go for the horses.
A simple thing
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Or about one.
Yes, Prabhuji. Carry on. I muted everybody, I think. You can unmute yourself, Prabhuji.
I am since one year I am associated with the Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand it with a different process, and I am trying to change my habit of eating. Certain things I should not eat, but I tried that for a couple of months, and then sometimes I feel no, I must eat today. So I'm not able to 100% conquer that lust. What I'm saying.
Desire, yes, Prabhuji, yes.
So that's really to that extent I'm not still very successful, though I am associated almost for 1 year, and today every day some reading or listening like this I'm doing it. So, but still I'm finding it difficult that some desires again come up after some time again.
Yes, Prabhuji, that's all that will keep coming, Prabhuji, because we're still in that level. So we have to continue. It takes almost at least 5-6 years you should take. You should be able to do it. But some will go, some will be able to do it, some will different levels. So it is individual, right? But it will take time. What you say is we are also on the same path. We are also slowly we are coming. But it takes time. But only thing is the awareness is there now, Prabhuji, today. At least you are aware, no? That this is there and we need to follow this. We need to think. So the awareness is there. And Krishna knows your effort, the effort you're putting. So he will help you. That is what it's all is required. Krishna's mercy we need. Finally, we need Krishna's mercy will come. But we'll also look at your attitude and your effort, your endeavor. Are you doing it? Are you doing? You're working. So even if you slip a little bit, it doesn't matter. But you're working for it. You're still steadily. You're in that want to be in that path. So he is looking at you. So he's there within us. So he will. Only thing is you have to ask for help. Then slowly, there'll be somebody will come to help you. They will come. He will send someone other. We wouldn't know, but there are people who will help you. So it will come. So only thing is we have to be focused on this slowly. And he knows we are his children. See, when children then try to walk, that ability to walk is there with them. Okay, but when he starts trying to walk, he will fall. But he'll start continuing it and slowly then he learns to walk. Same way we will fall down and things. Yes, we will do. But we need to continue. We have to continue our journey. Otherwise, our effort. That is why we say no sadhana bhakti. We have to continue with that. Whatever the regulations are given, we'll try to follow. And as much as possible, we will fall down, but still we'll continue and then make effort. Slowly we'll succeed. Just because you fell down in 2 or 3 times you should not get disappointed. You should say, no, yes, I've fallen down. Please help me, and you continue. It will work.
Thank you, Mataji.
The first are human beings. We commit mistakes. That is our nature. It is there with us. Our imperfections. All are not perfect. We have imperfections. So, only by sadhana we can continue and endeavor. But you wouldn't know, but he will be there with you. He will be there guiding you. And just because don't you forgive your children when they make some mistakes, when they think, or your student, don't you do? You try to guide them, like that. He is there. He is merciful. He will do it. But only thing is, just because he's merciful doesn't mean that we can keep on making mistakes. No, we try to, rectify ourselves. But this part of the chapter I didn't cover. Maybe I will cover it next time because it was a big thing. You want to do it again? I can do this portion because this is something. Because already it's 9:30.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You could do it, Mataji. Next time we can do this.
Because
Mataji.
Yes,
Mataji. Yes, Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, in Shloka 3.36, there was this picture shown. In that, one should be doing his duty perfectly rather than doing imperfectly, rather than doing someone else's perfectly. In that, you had shown one photograph. I think it's Lord Parshurama. Could you please briefly tell that story, Mataji? And my next question is with regard to verse 3.26, which says that three modes of nature only control our this thing. So my question is in connection with chapter 13 as well. So it is the Kshetragya and the Kshetra and the modes of nature that decide our actions. We have to behave as per the modes of the nature, and we should not be lamenting if we fall into any misery or something, because it is our own nature, that is a mode of nature, that is, and our body which is deciding it to follow that. So where does I know God is finally, Krishna is finally controlling all this, but I'm not able to make a sequence of all this. This is my question. It is very ambiguous, but if you could kindly answer it and that brief story, Mataji.
The brief story is that Parashrama was born in a Brahminical family, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
But he took up, he did it, because of Jamadagni, I don't remember the name of that king who they beheaded his armless father. So then he takes up revenge and he kills all the Kshatriyas. 21 times he does. So, though he was born as a Brahmin, but he took the role of Kshatriya and killed many of the Kshatriyas. All the kings and things who were all in the irreligious path. So though it was not his nature to be, he was a self-realized person, he's a Brahminical qualities he had. He was trained in that. But I think I should come out of it and go. Then it's easy to go to that slide.
3.36.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, this one. So here, Parashurama was born in a Brahminic family. He was, as a Brahmin, he was trained, and he was he had gone for penance and he had things. But he took up the role of a Kshatriya. He killed many of these kings, Kshatriyas, who were doing all, they been harming everyone, and they were very pompous and things. So he had to wipe out most of the Kshatriyas around. He killed 21 times. He did that. So, but just doesn't mean that he could take a different role, because he was a self-realized person. Okay, that's what he says here in purport. I don't know in this purport or where I read it.
No, Mataji, not in this purport, Mataji.
No, Vishwama, yeah, it is there on the page 194. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji.
The Kshatriya may, it says he can perform. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, he can perform anything and everything under the direction of the spiritual master. So in that complete state of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmana, or a Brahmana may act as a Kshatriya. So they are in the transcendental stage. They are not in the stage of the thing. For example, Vishwamitra was originally a Kshatriya. Okay. But later on he acted as a Brahmana. Whereas Parashurama was a Brahmana, but later on he acted as a Kshatriya. So being transcendentally situated, they could do so. But as long as one is on the material platform, he must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. Okay? And
Right,
he must, that is the reason. So it is there. All these have been put up from the purport only, Mataji. This was prepared by our senior devotees. So it was there. So you can read there in the purport, it's given. He was yes, because, but they are all highly in the transcendental thing. He was the, because his mother will call out for him, no, Parashurama, please come. So he would have gone somewhere in the mountains. He was there, and then he comes down, and then he takes up this role and wipes out this for 21 times. It's there. So he was a Brahmana, but later on he acted as Kshatriya. But they were all transcendentally situated. They were not in the, they had gone beyond the modes of material nature. They were not in the, as per the modes, they were not acting in the mode of goodness or passion. Nothing. They were in Sutta Gudva. Sattva. Yeah.
Right. Right, Mataji.
Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
You were asking the Kshetra, no?
Yes, Mataji, I am a little confused. Actually, I'm confused in framing the question itself. So,
okay, let me, I should have stop sharing.